Today we are addressing the topic cultivating radiant well-being, self-care practices for mental health. We've addressed so many topics already this year, and now we're coming back to ourselves. I'm very excited to learn from our experts who are guests today. What are really these self-care practices and what really cultivating radiant well-being is all about? But before we go to the topic itself, let me first just say thank you very much to Rajni and Eleftheria, who have so devotedly co-created this year of mental health, together with me and everyone who's gathering around this global movement called eco-civilization movement. Drivers for eco-civilization to address this mental health are very straightforward. Mental health as a pillar of resilience and sustainability. And we have dived deeply into this topic already, and some really interesting stuff and topics are still coming before the end of the year. Our real intention was to bring this topic to a broader audience in order to break the stigma for a better quality of life and empowering stewards, those who are already called to address this challenge and help people to overcome the challenges related to mental health and to empower them and give them the strength to be even stronger stewards in society and really help people to fully manifest the beauty that they hold inside. Eco-civilization movement, just in short, is a disruptive global cluster of people who care, and stress is on really caring. That is the only really common denominator. We also try to hold a safe space for engagement, collaboration, and innovation, and a possible emerging foundation for the future civilization. Today, we are diving deeper into the individual being in a relationship with the society and everything that comes from the environment towards an individual and how it can be used in the best possible way. With our growing interest in the intangible layers of our existence, mental health is getting recognized as a fundamental part of human well-being. And this has been a very clear message throughout this year of mental health. And it's also a necessary tool for resilience and survival. And as we will learn today, for emotional health and joy as well. What is really radiant well-being? Radiant well-being goes beyond just coping or surviving. It's a holistic, a vibrant self-care. And what I also liked when I was searching for the explanation of this term, which I didn't know before, it was also that it nurtures flourishing in mind, body, and spirit. Such a beautiful sentence. At the same time, it cultivates conditions from resilience, emotional health, and joy. So these are all uplifting elements, and I hope that we will really explore even further. What I also learned just quickly, and I know that our guests will discuss this further, is that radiant well-being is really focusing on health, connectedness, and values. So it's trying to bring this holistic view now over the mental health challenges on the level of an individual. And why it really matters? Because it reduces chronic stress, promotes better mood, and improves overall quality of life. And that is something we are so desperately searching for these days, where it's such a chaotic conditions around us, all these changes in values, all these changes in what is a quality relationship, all these changes in a sense of what is the future of this world, not only on a personal community level, but in a more generic humanitarian level. Before I pass my word to my colleagues, I would also like to mention that all the topics that we've covered so far in the year of mental health, we will bring together again in a book, Mental Health, the Soul of Humanity. And this we hope to publish in the end of first quarter of 2026. I also would like to announce the next session, which is coming in October, the intersection of culture and mental health, overcoming stigma in multicultural workplace. This will take place on the 22nd of October, of course, at the same time as always at 15 Central European time. I'd also like to bring an attention to another event that is coming, which is this weekend, together with a couple of partners, Social Systems Lab, 81, and several individuals like Dr. Alexander Laszlo. Eco-Civilization is fully engaged also in creation of Connectathon, which is 24 hours of sessions for humanity. That will happen this Saturday, 27th, and it starts at 7 o'clock. It starts at 5 o'clock Central European time, and our session on Leadership Challenged is starting at 7 p.m. For 2 hours Central European time. So hopefully we'll see you there, along with all other really exciting lectures that will be going on for 24 hours from Saturday to Sunday. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much. And now I pass my word back to Eleftheria and Rajni.
Thank you so much, Violeta, and just welcome to our esteemed speakers. And thank you so much for my colleagues, both Violeta and Rajni, for co-creating this beautiful experience and journey that we've taken this full year into really understanding mental health. And we like to normally start these webinars with just a moment for us to just take a breath. And I'm just going to invite you to just center yourself, bring all of your awareness into this beautiful moment. And with either your eyes open or closed, I just invite you to listen to these beautiful words, an excerpt from a song called Radiance by Jai Uttal and Ben Lebach. And so just feeling our feet planted on the ground, just taking a few breaths in and out, just becoming fully present in the body. I offer you these words. Peace to the inner and outer environments. Peace to the 5 elements within and without. Peace to this body. Peace to this mind. Peace to this huge ocean of emotions and feelings. And by the power of the truth, and for the happiness of all beings, may we have a culture of peace, a society of peace, a world of peace, where we can have days of peace, nights of peace, sleep with peace, and dreams of peace. By the power of the truth, and for the healing of all beings, may we have peace in all moments and in everything. And then we just take a deep belly breath in, breathing from the bottom of the belly. Bring that breath right to the top of your head. Pause for a moment or two. Just exhale out your mouth with a sigh. When you are ready, just gently start opening up your eyes. And with this, I would love to invite our first speaker now, Cleo Apostolaki. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Cleo studied psychology with clinical psychology at the University of Kent in Canterbury, the UK, and continued to study her master's in science and mental health at the University of London, King's College, where she majored in dynamic and cognitive behavioral psychotherapy. In Greece, she completed studies in short-term anxiety-provoking psychotherapy, and then continued while training also in family counseling, child, adolescents, mental health, learning disabilities, and psychometric tools. In 2009, she got a diploma in eco-psychology from the University of Strathclyde in Glasgow and studied dolphin-assisted therapy for children and adults with psychological, neurological, and mobility problems at the Dolphin Swim Institute in Austria, in collaboration with the Sigmund Freud University of Vienna. From 2021, she specialized in trauma therapy from the Institute for Coping with Trauma in Germany. She's a certified adult educator and vocational guidance, and responsible for the IES training in eco-tuning, applied eco-psychology, educational program in Greece, provided by the Hellenic Society of Eco-Psychology. She's worked in the adult psychotherapies department at Guy's Hospital in London, and since 2002, she's been working as a freelancer in Greece. She's taken part as a lecturer in numerous international and national conferences, and moreover, articles in magazines and daily press where she's participated as an invited expert. She's a member and former president and current board member of the International Society of Eco-Psychology, and officially recognized as the representative of the IES in Greece with the establishment of the Hellenic Society of Eco-Psychology. And so with this, Cleo, we welcome you, and I hand over to you. We're very interested also to learn more about eco-psychology.
Hello, thank you for the invitation. I'm very glad to be with you, and I'm really into the connection of different organisms and societies, because we live in an era that people by themselves, by certain groups, cannot bring change, but with intercorrelations, we can really do more things. Ecopsychology, for those who have not knowledge about that, because as a term, it's introduced in 1992. However, a lot of disciplines have made research on the connection of nature and human towards the benefits of both, because this is exactly what also ecopsychology does quite differently from psychology. Ecopsychology is not directed again towards human well-being, but it recognizes that for human well-being, the reciprocal relation with nature is important also for the planet well-being, because we live in a web of life, that we are all interconnected, and ecopsychology comes as an add in psychology that so far was focusing only to humans and the environment, the human environment of humans, and has left a lot the environmental issue. However, Theodore Roszak, in his book, The Voice of the Earth, said that okay, ecology is trying its best to make people concerned about the environment, and it's screaming about the effects of human destruction on nature. At the other end, there's a psychology that has the techniques and struggles for the and screams for the equilibrium of human psyche. So both of these disciplines cannot work by themselves because ecology is missing psychological defenses, why people are not taking actions toward a better planet, why people are self-destructive because when you damage your environment, you damage nature, you damage your own health and your own future. So it's missing some ways of making people conscious about what they're doing. On the other hand, it's psychology, where it examines human behavior and development like it lives in another planet, only with humans, no other creatures, no nature. But psychology knows about defense mechanism, about social psychology, how people develop and behave, and why. Tries to give explanation why they behave themselves and to the planet this way. So from this proposal, eco-psychology derived, and it's very interesting that eco in ancient Greek language and still in our modern language means home. And of course, nature is our home. It's not somewhere that we just visit and then we go to the buildings. And with the eco, we can imagine how deep is our relation with nature. It's our home and it's home of all the creatures. So since then, eco-psychology was not well known because it was strange to people to see that nature, we go to nature, we feel relaxed, but what can nature offer to us? Psychology is a science, and we know already a lot about the human psyche and how we can explain it and how we can understand it. But then after, especially, I have to say this, that especially after COVID, that people, the only way of free themselves from stress and have a walk was in nature. Everything was closed. Everything that in consuming society was a relief, it was closed. So even people who didn't have any contact with nature were in a way forced to go to nature, and they understood the benefits of it. And then there were researches saying that due to nature, people could cope with this much better in their mental health. And then it started the interest in eco-psychology because there were research going on seeing how the remembering of our connection with nature, because it's not something new, it's not something that we learn, it's something that we have innate, but we forget. And we have forgotten all these years that we really build in especially in Western society, our society, with other values, with other interests, with other kind of progression. And it was very interesting that people started to see beneficial. Okay, what is going on with us going to nature? Is not just a walk or a relaxed free time. It can be something deeper, because if I feel this good only by taking a walk into nature, how it would be if I make a deeper connection with nature? How can I benefit from that? And really, a lot of scientists from because ecopsychology, even though it's related to psychology, it's an umbrella of multi-disciplines, of multi-scientists, medicine, biology, education. It includes a lot of other views of how we can see our connection with nature as something that it not only it can help us connect with our inner natural self, because we are nature, we are not different from the wisdom that nature gives us, and at the same time understand why we need to connect and create relationship with the creatures around us. Because if we create relationships, that means that we get to know. It's like we do with the humans. When we meet somebody, then we are just getting know each other. We exchange information about each other, and then we kind of like to go further with our relationship. And as we getting close and closer, we start caring. We start having emotions and feelings. And because we have emotions and feelings and we develop that towards the other person, we start to care, love, protect. Therefore, in ecopsychology, in the applied ecopsychology, what we're trying to do is to cultivate relations with nature around us, different elements, different places. And when the person starts this, first the knowledge, not to be fear of, because we have alienated ourselves from nature. We're having emotions, but most of them, when we are so alienated, it's fear and it's stress. But when we get to know nature, because we have the biophilia inside us, and biophilia means that we have a innate tendency to connect with other forms of life around us. So when we awake this biophilia inside us, and we remember how it is to be part of this web of life, we start creating relations. And first of all, we learn from nature. We learn the wisdom. When we trying to find answer only with our brains and the human way of thinking, then we get quite confused a lot of times, because we cannot find answers. When we go to nature, though, and we have an issue, then the psychotherapeutic techniques that we use in psychotherapy are working with nature, like a projection effect, or seeing our unconscious being mirrored in nature. And we can see that when we interrelate, we find more answers, sometimes in away from the psychotherapeutic session. And we find that very obvious in nature, because it's a canvas that our conscious can be mirrored there, and we can really understand. So in application of ecotherapy, because ecotherapy is the application of applied ecopsychology, when we work with different landscapes with different themes, with different elements. For instance, with the change of the weather, with the rain, with the sun, with the sea, with the mountains, with the land. Every part of it is inside us because all the elements are creating human. So my personal experience from that, even though that I'm practicing ecotherapy from 2008 and on, something like that, I was practicing ecotherapy for myself since I was a little child. And therefore I searched that when I was in the elementary school, was very little, even though we were living in a city in Athens, in a suburb of Athens, we had a garden. The garden had trees, a lot of plants. My father and my grandma was putting seeds, and we had our own vegetables. We had our own fruits. We had chickens. We had cats, and we had all the creatures that they can live in a garden. Some from very soon in my life, I was going there at noon where everybody was sleeping because in Greece we have the siesta time. But I never wanted to sleep at noon. It was not my style. So I had this peaceful moment for myself to go to the garden and focus on everything that was going on. The ants, the chickens, how everything was behaving, what was happening when something was dying, what was every procedure, every change in the trees and the plants that was going on in every season. So I was spending a lot of time there, and I understood life a lot through through this time that I was spending in the garden. Or when I was sad and I had, the problems of the childhood with my parents, with my siblings, with my, pupils at school, then I was going there and I could go to the lemon tree and cry, and then a cat was coming to support me. And a lot of things were going on. So when I studied psychology, I was wondering, okay, is that a feeling that I had that nature was doing so much good to me and helped me develop not only knowledge but experience by interacting with other creatures? And it was funny because my teacher at school, when she was saying something, I had always to say, that it's not like that. Like saying that the cats mainly eat meat. Not mainly, they eat only meat. And I said, no, the cats don't eat only meat. I have seen them, they eat grass. When we have a spare food of greens, they eat them. How can you say that they eat meat? And she was very frustrated about that and said, no, you don't know. In the book, it says that they eat just meat. And I said, no, because I see that. So it was quite funny with the teachers. And when I finished psychology, I was saying, why we don't really have a lesson about the environment? We had environmental psychology, that was just a chapter or section, but this one had to do with the environment in general, not the nature setting. And then I was really bothered because I said, okay, maybe I was a little bit hallucinating when I was a kid. Maybe that was not true. Maybe it was only me. And then I searched, and a friend of mine, because he knew that I was doing this research, he said, well, I think I found something that really matches your searches, and that was ecopsychology. And in 2 weeks, I took my bag and I went to Italy, where they had the first gathering of European Ecopsychology Society. And I found other people that were saying exactly the same thing and say, yes, it exists. Yes, it's true. And we have to make ecopsychology, cultivate it and give it to people. And because really, nature is doing really well with human and planet, because it's not only us here. So this is how it began.
Thank you, Cleo. That amazing story. I can resonate, and I could see everybody else was really like nodding their head. So I think you're speaking to an audience that really gets it, and you're not alone in that. I know for me as a child, nature was a place to heal, a place to express, a place to observe and find my sense of belonging and worthiness in it. And I'm wondering if there are some applied eco-psychology or any tools that you have to practice. So if we feel overwhelmed or if we're feeling stressed or anxious, is there any practices that we could do with nature?
Yes, definitely. There are a lot of practices that we can do, but it's important to go gradually to these practices. For instance, we understood as children the world with our senses. This is something that we miss nowadays because uh, we use most of our senses, vision. Um, we see cameras, we see computers, we see our phones. We understand the world more with our vision, and our other senses are a little bit sleeping because they're defending themselves. For example, if you go to the city and you hear all this noise, all these crowds, you see the cars, everything that is going on. Of course, you do not absorb it because you develop. We as humans can really adjust easily. So we have to defend our senses in order to survive, especially in the city. With the smell. Our smell is not the same as it was because we use more artificial ways of having, like perfumes, or even we need in our environment to have, strong perfume to understand how we can use the sense of with our nose, of smelling. And with the fuels in city, we don't smell it anymore. We get used to it. With the touching, how many people or how many things do we touch to feel pleasure from? With even with our taste, when we have a lot of artificial food in our tables with that is not fresh from the garden. You smell tomato, and then you go to the supermarket and smell it. Then even if you smell a zucchini or tomato, is the same smell or the same taste. So our senses are very important because they awake our knowledge to the world. Even now, people are getting to know each other through, the internet, through chat, through words, and through other kind of communication that does not involve our decoding process that we use when we meet somebody and we say, I like this woman because I have a good vibe from here. We have decoded from all our senses what kind of person is next to us. Or we sometimes say, no, yeah, she looks nice, she speaks nice, she says nice words, but something I don't like, I don't feel comfortable. So when we isolate our senses, we cannot understand the world the way that we can really make decisions uh, and give ourselves the chance to feel happy or feel safe. So one practice, I make this, I say this because I want to show how important is that, all the stress or when we are overwhelmed is also caused by uh, from many factors, of course, but also from the fact that we don't have a full understanding of what's going around us. In nature, because it is a place that includes us, it's a place that it's safe to open our senses and reawaken our senses. Because, for example, when there's noise in your ears and your hearing is always something irritating, then if you get a defense, you get a defense in everything good as well. It's like you're wearing you're wearing a protection shield, but this protection shield does not keep away something bad only, but keeps away everything. So when we are in nature, one good practice, we always begin with a small mindfulness exercise in order to see where we are, where is our body, where is our mind, our emotions, how is our breathing, and focus on here and now. We can put off our shoes because grounding and earthing is a practice that many medical researchers have shown that the grounding, by putting our naked skin into the earth, to the soil, or to sand, it helps us with our immune system, in our stress relief, and our palpitations, and also in inflammations. This was very interesting. So when we do that and we feel nice and safe, we open our senses by focusing on each one separately. Gradually, when this is a start. When we go to nature, every time we go, we can also upgrade our experience. For instance, we go there and we close our eyes because this is what we use all the time. So we need to focus. So we close our eyes and we focus on our hearing. In nature, there's a lot of different I don't say noises, I will say voices. The voices of the creatures, the voices of the air coming through a tree. There's a lot of communication, other kind of communication. So when we concentrate on our hearing, we give the chance to absorb. When we upgrade, we can count maybe how many sounds we hear and from which directions. So there are plenty of techniques with each of the senses. The smelling, how is the air bring a smell into our nose? How can we smell? And it's interesting when you do that in a team because they have in the beginning everybody has a different counts different of how many birds can hear, or the smell. Somebody cannot smell anything, the other is smelling the little detail of everything. And so you understand, okay, I need to practice this because I need to focus more because I cannot really let my shield go away. And start touching, not only with the hands, but also feel free to leave your skin open to the air and to the external factors that you can feel: the temperature, you can feel the humidity, uh, everything that is running in the air, because a lot of things happening in the air when we are nature, even though if we cannot really see it, but it's not important. We feel it. And when we make this focusing in our different senses, uh, we can be ready for a silent walk. With a silent walk, we stop our thinking, because we use a lot of words, and even if we cannot stop it, because it needs a lot of practice to go away from our everyday thinking procedure, what we can do is practice just not trying to kick off our thinking, but with a silent walk, by using my other senses, my concentration goes to other directions. And without using words, then the brain gets a little bit in peace. And I'm opening roots uh, underneath, and paths to communicate with whatever is around me. After this, it's a really interesting experience, because when you do that repeatedly, then you see gradually a lot of changes.
Amazing. Thank you for taking us into a deeper step-by-step experience into really stepping into communion with nature. I often find that when we go for a walk, especially with our female friends, if we go for a walk in nature, normally it's just talking, talking, talking. And I often have to say, let's just breathe, let's be present, let's, just walk in silence or in mindfully through nature, because you miss out on so many things. Sometimes you feel better because you're talking, but I often think that sometimes if we're just really present in nature, all of that gets resolved anyway. There's a holding of us in nature in that way. So thank you. Cleo, any special self-care practice that you practice that you could share with us?
Self-care, you said? Sorry?
A self-care practice that you use
Self-care
for yourself.
practice.
Yeah.
Yes, my personal self-care practice, because for each person, when you get to know nature, you identify with different elements of landscape that you create your own experience, and you feel differently than other people. Not all people love sea, or not all people like mountains. I have a kind of rituals that I'm, in a way, rituals that I'm using when when I feel disconnected, because I feel sometimes disconnected. If we have too much technology for a lot of days, then for me it's too much, and I feel that I lose my contact, and I have to go to nature to get the contact back. So what I really like, I have a small dog, Trufa, and she's really the one that helps me remember that I need to connect, because she reminds me and forces me that, okay, let's go. Let's go to nature, because she does not like to go for a walk in the street. She wants to go to nature. She's crazy. And so she reminds me that, and I take care. And we go, we have here in my house nearby, about 10 minutes drive, there is a small paradise very close to the city, where is a river. And there's a lot of trees and a lot of nature, where a lot of birds go there. So my ritual is to go for a walk. A lot of times I learn from my dog, because I see how connects with the nature around. So every time I go there, and I sometimes I put a quest in my mind saying that, okay, I need now to see, what's going on right now in my present, and I need a feedback. But just the thinking, not having that in my mind. And then I observe everything around, and uh, somehow it's not magic, it's projection. I come out with an answer because I'm focusing unconsciously in something that really tells me um, what I need to have in my life right now as an answer. So uh, the river, I really love the river, and the hearing and calms me very much. The birds, that there are a lot of birds around, and also trufa that gives me every time a new information. Uh, of course, there's times that you cannot reach easily nature. So in the house, I really like to uh, put some music coming from wild forest, or something that brings me with my fantasy in my mind uh, to the Amazonians or the deep blue. So I create sometimes an environment that with different scents coming from nature, and even bake something, because it's the innate feeling of um, uh, you know cooking, that you feel, that you create a food from fresh and nice vegetables or fruits. So you generally somebody can connect with a lot of things, even if it's in the house.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Cleo. Those are great self-care practices. I'm wondering, Rajni or Violetta, do you have any questions for Cleo at this stage?
I have a question. If
Rajni.
time permits,
Rajni.
then I would like to ask that question. Cleo, first of all, thank you so much for the wonderful knowledge that you provided us. And my question may appear very practical question that has become major issue nowadays, especially in big cities, including many Indian cities. That's stress related question, and that is the sound sleep. The issue is that sound sleep, because sound sleep is considered to be as one of the key parameters of good mental health. And nowadays I hear about so many therapies, even natural ways like dipping your feet in epsom salt, which is rich with minerals, magnesium, sulfate, and all that. So
Mhm.
in general, to your clients or whosoever comes with such problem, what is your suggestion to them? Because not everybody has a luxury to be in nature all the time.
Mm. If I understood right, you said about sleeping problems.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, okay, sleeping is it's the time, because in sleeping we the beta waves leave from our brains, which is what we really need to make all our tasks, and then we need to go to the theta waves, that then we can have a sleep. When we need to move from one to another, to from everything that is in our mind, and we go to sleep, means that we first need to let our brain clean, give time to ourselves to relax in another way, not just go to the bed and to try to find sleep, because sleep is something that comes gradually, when you let yourself out of the everyday life problems, which is not easy. Therefore, many people have sleep problems. and they are taking pills, or they are trying, to go to the gym late at night, so they will fall really tired down. When you go to nature and you have a relaxed end of the day, for instance, because yes, you cannot go to nature all the time, but you can have nature in your home before you go to sleep. You can occupy a little bit with the gardening, take care of your plants, or you can meditate a little bit to, in India, that meditation is a good practice. I don't know if it's quite, it's at least for us, meditation is something that we use nowadays, to be present and centered to yourself. Of course, to each person, the techniques may different, may be different. But when you, because the connection with nature has relaxing effects on your body and mind. So if you can include some time with nature, even in your own room, or there's some plants also that you can put in your bedroom, or a nice scent, a relaxation scent of lavender. Natural ways with natural material, or eat the tea, or drink a tea that has botanicals with relaxation effects. You can put nature in this procedure. But of course, the main reason of not being able to sleep, if you exclude any medical reason of not sleeping, is because of the stress. And when you interrelate with nature in any way, in your body, in the ways that we said, you can approach a lot um, the time that you can just close your eyes and be in peace in yourself.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Well, here I have now a quick question, really. Can we humans be in this radiant well-being and full connection while getting all these negative impulses from all over the world that lead to, or let's say that bring the message of this ruthless, authoritarian, dominant energy which is floating all around? What would be your advice to keep yourself in this radiant well-being in a sustainable manner, while all these impulses of negativism are all around us?
That's a very good question, Violeta, because yes, you're very right. We have all this information, all these things that when we open our mobile and we scroll, we get full of so many information, all this picture, because everything is now interrelated with the vision. And this causes a lot of stress, because you don't have the time to proceed all this information and especially all these bad things that are happening around us. What is very important in ecopsychology, and what we can see in the work of Joanna Macy, but she was occupied with deep ecology, and she was a pioneer in recognizing the deep emotions towards Earth of people, that we are overwhelmed with emotions when the planet around us is not in a healthy position, not in a healthy way. So what she was proposing, and she was making train of, is first of all, when we feel that, not when we feel, when we realize that we have all these bad things that are happening around, and it's over us to not to control them, but to understand them and find our position in all this mess around us. What is very important is to recognize our emotions, to see how we feel, and work with our emotions towards this insanity. Because personally, I feel a lot of insanity around, and I'm really struggling, as you say, to cope with it. And there's many people like that. But what we need to do first of all is focus on what we can take. It's no need to expose ourselves to all the destruction of the world in one day, because we can have opposite results of that is because it says, okay, how I close our eyes in what is happening around us and say, okay, that's not my type of go to party now. No, this is not helping when you have all this picture, does not help you take action. It arises the issue of defense. You're defending. When it's too much, you're defending and you are closed. You stop having emotions and you just pass by everything and nothing happens because you cannot deal with all this mess. What we need to do is control, first of all, to what we are exposed on. Be aware of what is happening, but it is not useful to have all this violence in picture in front of us. Deal with our emotions, what this causes us, recognize our emotions, and see what is our position on this, what we can do, so we can feel that we can be kind of active and not be victims. Because if we close our eyes, defend against everything, we raise our defense mechanisms, and this leads us to apathy. And when we reach the point of apathy, nothing can be changed at all. I don't know if I answered to your question, but it's not, we have the resilience, but it has to, it's like a coin that it has two sides. On the other hand, not close your eyes. On the other hand, overexposure can lead to the opposite. So keep a balance.
Thank you so much, Claire. I would like to now pass on to Nidhi. And I will introduce Nidhi to all of you. I've known Nidhi for quite a good couple of years and really grateful that she's here with us today. So Nidhi Amanda Chaito is a soul doula, certified therapeutic counselor, death doula, life coach, rhythm therapist, biomancy, and ecosomatic practitioner. And with almost more than 30 years of experience, she's woven her deeply aligned spiral path to the divine self, guided by a lifelong path through love, loss, healing, and a profound devotion to the divine, rhythm, earth, and cosmic wisdom and her ancestral lineage. She's called to serve, inspire, uplift, and honor all who enter her sanctuaries to work and co-create healing and transformation. And what she offers is encoded with her experiences and wisdom to meet you where you are and empower you to awaken, transition, transform, ground, and connect. She draws on the rhythm of mystical Judaism, Kabbalah, and the medicine wheel, biomancy, and ecosomatics, sacred and ancestral lineage, and earth and cosmic wisdom, and embodies the crone as the beacon of wisdom and renewal. She invites others to reclaim their stories, to honor their journey, and to step through the doors that lead to a deeper, embodied, and authentic life. Nidhi, I pass the floor to you.
Thank you so much. And Cleo, thank you so much. It's such a beautiful, symbiotic teaching, going from what you just shared and your wisdom with eco-psychology and what I'm going to speak about today. So I'm going to do a little bit of teaching and sharing practices on spiritual connection and somatic embodiment as part of the spiral path to the divine self. So who is our divine self? When we go within and connect with our higher power, we connect with the aspect of ourself through our heartbeat, our memories and stories, what we've been through in our lives, our ancestors, and the rhythm of Mother Earth and the cosmic radiance. As we start to honor our inner resources and resilience, our allies, our eternal support system, as well as acknowledging the external support system, our path to our divine self becomes clearer. We connect to this by honoring the elements in our breath, in our waters, which is the blood, lymph, spinal, and other fluids, in our fire through our creativity, our passion, and purpose, and in our connection with the earth, which is our body and all of life. This is where we begin to meet the divine aspect of who we are. Our rhythms and cycles. When we start to deeply honor our ancestral stories and lineages, a new relationship and understanding of our biological and eco-ancestors starts to come into our awareness. Eco-ancestors are the animal, plant, earth, and cosmic systems that are primordial and that we carry in our DNA and in our connections with all of life. So I wanted to share a story with you around an eco-ancestor. When my mom died, which is 31 years ago, one of the last conversations we had was she said to me that when you see a butterfly in the garden, know that I'm with you. And from that time on, I see butterflies whenever I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed or unsure, or I need guidance, or even on a busy highway in downtown congested Johannesburg, when I had a thought or I was needing something, there was a butterfly. When I'm doing my sessions with clients, if I look up, because whatever's coming up, maybe you want to just move a little bit. Just allowing your breath to come into a beautiful rhythm, deepening your connection with each in-breath, releasing with each out-breath. And just feeling your feet connected with the earth, allowing your back, your posture to be straight. Making sure that there's no stress in your neck and shoulders. Just allowing yourself to just be in this beautiful present state. And just focusing on this beautiful light that is coming in through the crown. And as you breathe in, allowing this light to come in through your crown, filling up your face and your arms, going down into your belly, down into your legs, into your feet. And as you're breathing out, just allowing that beautiful energy and light to go down through the roots, out, coming from the bottom of your feet, going down, past those mycelium, past those beautiful crystals and the rich soil, down to the center of the earth. And breathing in that beautiful light in through your crown, filling your body with light, and going down through your roots, down into the center of the earth. Creating a circle of light, connected with your breath, and taking that circle of light out of your body, surrounding you. And checking in, seeing where you're feeling something uncomfortable. Maybe there's a little bit of fear or uncertainty. Feeling into your body. Where do you need to offer more light? And breathing into that place, filling that space with light. Feeling that deep connection. Becoming a bridge between the cosmic light that's coming in through your crown and the deep core of Mother Earth. Feeling held, feeling connected. And meeting the divine aspect of who you are.
When we touch the ground, feel the soil beneath our feet, the pulse of Mother Earth, her rhythm so sweet. Roots grow from our souls, reaching down deep, restoring our balance, waking from sleep. I am healthy, I am whole, grounded in earth, restoring my soul. I am worthy, I am free. Mother Earth, heal through me. Breathing in the air, fresh and pure, nature's embrace, the ultimate cure. Energy flows from the ground to our core, activating healing forevermore. I am healthy, I am whole, grounded in earth, restoring my soul. I am worthy, I am free. Mother Earth, heal through me. Om Shri Tanvantre Namaha. Healing light, guide our way. With every step we connect and align. In the earth's embrace we find our sign. I am healthy, I am whole, grounded in earth, restoring my soul. I am worthy, I am free. Mother Earth, heal through me. Feel the heartbeat, the sacred ground in Mother Earth's love.
Just allowing yourself to come back into your body, placing your hands onto your heart, just feeling that beautiful connection, knowing that you've got this, that you've got you. As we take a beautiful deep breath in, and as you breathe out, just feeling yourself present on the chair, your feet on the earth. Taking another beautiful deep breath in, maybe just moving your body a little bit as you become more aware in the space, hearing the sounds around you. Just taking one more beautiful deep breath in. As you breathe out, just allowing your eyes to gently open, come back into the space. So to end, most beautiful technique that has helped so many of my clients, and it helps me every single day, is that when I'm going through a difficult time, that I can take a beautiful deep breath, check in where I am right now, and ask the question, what do I need right now? And in that moment, connecting with the rhythm of the earth, whether you're in nature or in a high-rise building at the top of New York City, to just feel that rhythm of the earth, because we are connected to a rhythm and a heartbeat of Mother Earth and of the cosmos. And when we can reconnect with that aspect, it brings us into a place of presence. And not the circumstances or the challenges haven't changed, but we've changed just with one deep breath and one connection with the earth. And then we can function and show up and deal with things in a very different way. And it gives us a space to think before we act. And a lot of what happens in the world is that we act or react from a place of restriction, of anger, of fear, and we're not connected to our divine self. And that divine self is nature. It is all of who we are. So I just want to take a moment to honor the elements, to honor the element of the breath, the element of water, the element of fire, the element of the earth, and to come into that beautiful connected heart space and our connection with the divine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nidhi. Yeah, thank you for this beautiful connection and reminding us that, in any moment of struggle, we can connect, tune in, wherever we are. It is available to us. Cleo, please go ahead. You raised your hand.
I wanted to make a reaction, but the only was to raise the hand. So thank you so much. It was lovely what we experienced with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alexandria, I have
Rajni,
yeah.
Rajni, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nidhi. And I mean, one can really see, looking at you, how peaceful you are inside. Because inside peace reflects on your face. And that's the blessing of nature, that's the blessing of universe, and that's the inner work that you have done on yourself over a period of time that we can clearly see. My
Thank you.
question is, yeah, my question is clearly about, some human tendencies, like you mentioned about a negative emotion, that is fear. And to some extent, fear is necessary for human beings for survival. It is an instinct which is needed to survive. But here I'm talking about fear of age and death. And it certainly takes a lot of conscious self work, inner work, to accept it over a period of time that one day we will age and we will die. We have to leave this world. My question is about those people who have never worked on themselves or never got time. They got lost so much in this material world that they forgot to do inner work. And suddenly they are diagnosed with something grave, and now they have very less time. How do you help such people to accept that fear? Because that's a very challenging situation for both guru and the person who is suffering.
So it's a beautiful question, and we all have fear. I mean, I'm aging, and it's, some days it comes really close, and working with death and loss and grief and all of those things. Ideally, if we worked with grief as part of, like, I think it needs to be part of children's education, because we grieve so much loss in our lives with friendships and, losing a pet or moving to another town, or there's just so much of loss. And I think that if we weren't so fearful of grief, we would be able to ritualize it and make it such a big part of life. So how do you deal with someone who's old and stuck and fearful, and with kindness and compassion? Because I think when someone feels that they are seen and they feel connected, and you're kind to them, because the system that we live in, no matter which cultural area we come from, is not kind to older people. We are pushed aside, we become invisible. There's very little kindness and compassion. And really, when we are kind and compassionate to someone and we listen to their story, it ignites something in them when they can tell their story. And then the fear, although it's there, can just be part of, I'm afraid to die, or I'm afraid to age, but I feel connected. And I think that lack of connection, and, we spoke earlier about COVID. I mean, one of the biggest things with COVID is so many people were isolated, alone, and they didn't have connection. And, it impacted mental health, which I don't even think we realize on a global scale, the level of that disconnect and isolation that what it had. And then it also creates a distortion with the dark web, with the stuff that goes on online, and impacts young people who are really not coping mentally. So I think it just starts with kindness, connection, compassion, making time, smiling, the simple things in life. Giving someone a flower. Those simple things create a moment of joy, a moment, like a little molecule of joy. And I use the concept of microdosing, of just how little bits of goodwill, little bits of a breath, little bits of positive things, of kindness, make a difference. Do you know Wangari Maathai? She was the first African woman to win a Nobel Peace Prize, and she planted thousands of trees, and she lived in a very patriarchal system who didn't want her to study, and she got she went to study in America, and she got her PhD, and she tells the story of the hummingbird, and it's the most beautiful story. And there's a video on it where there's a fire in the forest, and all the animals are running out the forest, and the hummingbird is flying to the river or the dam and picking up water and flying and dropping one drop of water and flying back. And one of the animals said, "Are you crazy? You know, so what are you doing?" And the hummingbird says, "It's each little drop. Eventually, it will create a collective movement which will put out the fire." So, yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Okay. Mm. Mm.
Thank you so much. Violeta, go ahead.
It was beautiful. Thank you very much. And I wonder, again, I'll go back to this reality that is surrounding us, which is beautiful on a level of a flower and a bird. And it's really probably the only thing we can still hold on in its purity of love and connection. Yet, what would be your advice? How to step into the life that surrounds us, where we get signals now from everywhere that these female energies are not to be considered as part of the solution, where women are being pushed again very much aside, and pushed away from the peace negotiations, pushed away from problem solving, pushed away from money distribution. Is there something we are not seeing? Is there something we are overlooking? Because at least I feel that is so much needed in order to find solutions to the challenges that we're facing today, being climate change or poverty or sort of decomposition of communities. Yeah.
So, you know, it's so interesting because it's hard. It's hard, and it's like you can have all these incredible ideas, but the reality is the reality, you know. But there's two things that connect people, and I just think food and music. We have to find a way to eat together, because food tells such an incredible story, and you know, each family, each culture has their own taste. We were talking about senses, their own taste, their own smell of food. So I think food is something that, you know, it's like to find, and if you think of ideally the woman's role is about creative nurturing. And so, you know, I think that we connect, and then with music as well, you know, when no matter, you know, I drum and I play drums, and it's like you sit in a circle with people who come from all different parts of life, and male, female, rich, poor, you name it. And when we all sit together and hit one beat, we are connected. And it's that concept of that we are part of the web of life. And I mean, it's idealistic, but I don't know, like it's the simple things that start to make a different kind of revolution. And that's through step by step, through finding ways of connecting through food, through music, and just also having an open heart and realizing that a light, you know, in the darkness, a tiny little flame can make the light so much bigger than the darkness. And so I think through storytelling, through just connecting one step at a time, yeah. Otherwise, we get sucked into a story that is just so hard to find our way out of.
But can I just add a little question to this?
may.
I feel with you, and I sort of try to live by what you just said. How do you sense, and this is maybe from Kilo as well, how do you sense the state of consciousness that is currently present on a local or global scale? Are we in a spiral or are we in a circle? In other words, can we see again 8 million women being killed over the next 200 years just because we try to eat together and feel the beat together? Or have we evolved to the point that all these disturbances and attempts of this heavy aggressive energies, male energies, can be compensated and somehow digested and processed for the good of the entire planet?
I'll talk and then Claire, you can talk. For me, it's about frequency and again, an energy. If I take a step, if I get sucked in, which I can do because I'm human, my vibration goes down, my frequency goes down, and then I can feel the toxicity and the negativity, and it's not good for me. And so all I can do is lift my vibration and have an attitude of coming from a higher perspective. But I don't have the answers. All I can do is connect with my higher self, with the divinity, with the path that I walk, and ask Mother Earth, nature, for the wisdom and the guidance. And you know, I think that we give a lot of attention, especially with social media. We keep feeding a fire that is raging and is destructive, and we get sucked into it, and it lowers our vibration. And you know, I think for me on a spiritual path, it's only through my spiritual practice and my looking up instead of going left or right, looking up and looking in, and the power of prayer and the power of believing, because I don't know the answer to those questions unless I just keep working on and focusing on another way of being.
I would agree in a way. I think that if you see the big scale, this is a little bit disappointing for me. However, if I see things in a smaller scale, I mean that in local areas, in the smaller scale, I think changes are being done, but they're not very obvious because the bigger scale is hard to reach. So in a way, I'm a little bit frustrated because I see what you, Violeta, said, and I am just feeling that there is no light in the future. But when I see the smallest societies, what they're trying to do, I'm positive. And you know what? I was thinking this as a forest. That if you see the forest, you might feel, a little bit scared, and you cannot identify something because you see the big screen. But when you go as a little hummingbird goes to its tree, then I think that we can do a lot. And I remind you that the biggest, in a way, destruction of public health has been done from small COVID that you can only see, not with a bare vision. So I don't underestimate what can be done in the smaller scale, because it will lead somewhere. I don't know if it can be quick or it can be so strong to change a lot of things. But smaller changes are sometimes more stable than the big vision. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for that powerful question, Violetta. I mean, I'm finding this in a lot of, in my community circles, this is the one question, especially for all women at the moment, is, you know, how do we balance this? How do we cope with it? And there's one beautiful quote, which I'll also share in the chat now, which for me is the practice. And I agree with both of you. I also just keep reminding everybody to remember how powerful grassroots connection and movements have been throughout time, and also to focus on all of the beautiful things that are happening around us all the time. That doesn't reach the news, that doesn't reach your social media, but that is also happening at the same time. And this beautiful quote, which I love, by Sarah Durham Wilson, it's not an easy practice, but it's hopeful, is the way you alchemize a soulless world into a sacred world is by treating everyone as if they are sacred until the sacred in them remembers. And I've seen this in practice so many times when I have been in a situation with somebody who is angry, has the opposite value system as mine, or who is, if you hold that sacred center within yourself and move from that place, there is a response that comes from that. Because again, it's our nervous systems, like the mycelium system of the trees, communicate and connect all the time. And so when your nervous system it's co-regulating all the time with everybody else's, it's challenging. But if we know this, we can actually use that as our superpower, let's say. Yeah. And yes, so any other questions, Rajni or Violetta?
I just out of curiosity, because I have been practicing meditation for a long time. So my question to Nidhi is, if she could let us know, how do we know if we are at a lower vibration? Like she said that, with any bad news, she can feel that her vibrations have lowered down because that is impacting her vibration. But in general, as human beings, as ordinary people, we don't understand whether we are operating at high vibration or lower vibration, because we are being exposed to all sort of news, and we are not actually putting any filter because we feel it's life and we would be exposed to all sort of news. So how do we recognize whether we are operating on high vibration or lower vibration? This is my question.
You ask really good questions. So there has to be, I think it's like a moment of checking in and you to see where you're at. And it's like a barometer in a way. So the breath is the easiest way into the body. And we do breathe all the time, but most people breathe on a very shallow level. So just one deep breath can change everything, and it can lift the vibration. So how do we know that we're on a low vibration? It's because if you're not feeling well, or you know, there's that feeling of overwhelm or being sucked in, or, you know, in crippling fear or shock or whatever, it can bring us into a place of feeling really low and feeling despair. I know despair, you know, it's a place that many of us can go to. And when we're in a situation like the world that we're living in now, it's easy to be in despair because there's not a lot, you know, it's not always easy to see the sunshine in the darkness. But you know, the simple act of breathing, of really just taking a deep breath and coming into presence with self helps us to find our way through. And the thing is that when someone is in despair or they're in severe depression and they feel like they've got 13 blankets on top of them and they cannot breathe, you know, they don't want to hear take a deep breath because sometimes they actually can't, you know. So it's just a matter of one step at a time. And I think just through connection and through being a light in our own lives, it starts to ripple around us. And I think it's just to create the ripples of higher vibration, you know. And we can't save everybody, but we can, if we can work on ourselves, then it mirrors a way for other people to feel. Because like you said, you know, I'm a peaceful person, I am. And what happens is when I go out into the world, people respond to that, you know, they smile at me. And, you know, it's just a simple thing of just treating people kindly. So it's just, you know, and yeah, I think it's just,
Okay, so anytime we feel we are operating on low vibration, deep breathing is the shortest route we can reconnect with high vibration, in a
you
nutshell.
can, yeah, it helps you to come into the body. And when we're in the body, we're
Right.
more present. And when we're more present, we actually are aware of what's going on right in front of us. We're not called into past stories or worrying about what's going to happen
Future.
tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of the fear comes from fear of the future, fear of what's going to happen, you know,
Right.
you know, and often people, that puts them in a state of anxiety and stress when they start thinking about what's going to happen in the future. You know, and it's not happening now. So it's to just be here now, as Ram Dass said so eloquently. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wonderful. I think there are some simple practices as well for self-care. I think we've discussed quite a few of them, but one of them as well, which leads from our last conversation, is also for us to set a self-care practice of digital boundaries. And I think it's a good practice. And I know that I've experienced this that's been deeply inspiring. I've experienced it with Violetta and also with Cleo. When I, know that you're either away, restoring, or somewhere else, and that's always inspiring for me to say, to experience that when you're communicating with somebody and they say, actually, right now, I'm restoring, or I'm away in the mountains, or I'm restoring in nature, and then coming back to that. And I think in our digital world, what's happened, and this is a big mental health impact, is that our personal lives and our professional lives have become one through social media and LinkedIn and these things. And so a big self-care practice for myself that I'm still perfecting is those kind of digital boundaries, to make that space and time for yourself. So I think that in practice is also something that can really help us, especially our youth. if you think about our youth, if there was something, some conflict at school, you would have the afternoon to process through it. But now it's a continuous conversation in a group chat, you know, which kids go through. And so I think those digital boundaries is something that we underestimate, but is something that will greatly benefit us and help us.
Yeah, the word that comes up is discernment, and I think it's a really important way of being is to be discerning of what we watch, what we consume, what we listen to, and we do have the ability to switch off our phones and to put them on silent and to take time out. And it is definitely an important self-care practice. Yeah.
Thank you, Nadine. And Claire, when you were talking about your experience and also eco-psychology in Greece, it always makes me think of the ancient wisdom of the Asclepsia. And I really think that this is something that we need to also reintroduce, remember, embrace, because that was the ancient wisdom of Greece, is the Asclepsia, which used to be, you know, these temples, but nature that you would go to, which was in the mountains with fresh air, beautiful clean water, a space to recharge. And I know you've just spent some time in beautiful mountains also.
Yes, indeed. And Asclepia are my favorite places because we can see there the wisdom that the ancient Greek had towards the one health. What we are revisit right now is what they understood as one health. So it's very interesting. It was like an open air hospital where people were going there. It was surrounded by basic elements, and the every place had also theater because theater was therapeutic. Being in nature was therapeutic, and chemesis, that was the procedure of sleeping, and supposedly that Asclepios was coming to your dream and would advise you what you have to do. It's what we call now self therapy, that you need to come in connection to your own body and your spirit, which then was Asclepios, to tell you what you need. And I think the places that the Asclepia have been built are very holy places and strong places. And there is one I visit very often when I want to get strength. And how can everything be turned because of other reason, like cultural or religious reason, like the snake was not the devil, but was a creature that was a symbol of therapy because it changes its skin, and it has also a therapeutic poison that is used. So the thing is not go back to the ancient years to find therapies and cures, but get back the wisdom and the knowledge and adjust it to what we have done so far in a good way in our progression. And the most important thing is that we need to see a whole, not a leg, a hand, a heart, and then we can see also the surrounding.
Thank you. Thank you for that holistic connection to all of life. Well, beautiful ladies, this has kind of brought us to a close of our time today. And I really want to thank my colleagues and also thank our wonderful speakers, both Cleo and Nidhi. Thank you for your time. Thank you for
Thank you
listening.
too.
Thank you for sharing your knowledge.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nidhi. Thank you, Cleo.